All right, let's talk about a challenge that I think pretty much all of us have faced at some point, getting ready for one of those big, career-changing certifications. We're going to use Adobe Premiere Pro as our main example today, but honestly, the strategies we're about to cover, they work for just about any high-stakes exam you can think of.
So this is the big question, right? The one that really matters. It doesn't matter if you're a student trying to prove you've got the skills, or you're an educator trying to get your class ready. How do you actually prepare for exam day? It turns out it's a much bigger puzzle than you might think.
You know, most people's first instinct is to just grind. Just do as many practice questions as you can possibly find. It feels productive, doesn't it? But more often than not, it leads you straight into what I call the random question trap, where doing more doesn't actually mean you're doing better.
I mean, think about the most common way people study. They go online, they search for practice exams, and they just start hammering away at hundreds of random questions. Well, it turns out that's one of the most inefficient ways to prepare. It's just unfocused practice. It's activity without any real structured learning.
And this right here really gets to the heart of it. On one side, you have random questions. What do? They encourage you to guess, they don't give you any real context, and maybe worst of all, they create a totally false sense of confidence. But targeted practice, well, that's a whole different ballgame. It's designed to feel like the real exam, and it's all about building a deep understanding of the why behind every single concept.
You know, there's a quote that just nails this perfectly. It's easy to mistake activity for achievement. Answering 200 random questions feels like a huge accomplishment, right? But if you haven't actually grasped the core ideas, you're really just spinning your wheels. It's all motion, but no real forward progress.
So if the old way is broken, what's the solution? It really is all about shifting our entire mindset from quantity over to quality. Trust me, there's a much smarter and way more focused way to get ready.
What if I told you the key to success wasn't buried in hundreds of practice questions? What if the secret was actually just this one number, 20? What could possibly be so special about 20?
And here's the secret. The goal isn't a huge volume of questions. It's a small, very focused set, about 20, of incredibly high-quality certification-style questions. And, crucially, every single one of them comes with a detailed explanation. This is where the real learning starts.
So what do I even mean when I say certification style? Well, it means it's not just about memorizing a fact. It's a question designed to test how you apply your knowledge, how you solve problems, and how well you understand the big ideas, exactly like the real exam is going to.
And here it is, this is the most important part. The question itself is only half the battle. The real value, the engine that powers this entire method, it's the detailed explanation that comes with it. Because suddenly, getting an answer wrong isn't a failure. It becomes an amazing learning opportunity.
The process is so simple, but it is incredibly powerful. First, you give the question a genuine try. You actually attempt it. Then, and this is the part you absolutely cannot skip, you master the explanation. Don't just read it, master it. You don't move on until you fully understand the why, and that's how you turn every question into a solid piece of knowledge.
And the benefits? Oh, they're huge. This method builds real, deep knowledge, not just surface-level memorization. It immediately shows you your specific weak spots so you know exactly what to focus on. It literally trains your brain to think like the people who made the test. And most importantly, it builds authentic, unshakable confidence for exam day.
So as you get ready for your next big challenge, just ask yourself this. Is your goal to just collect a bunch of correct answers? Or is it to truly master the material by understanding the why? Because that difference is everything.